Well, Matt, it's really been driven by the principal commodity in which we're involved in the aluminium supply chain, which is alumina. So the price of alumina has been driven by a number of factors in the first half. In part, it was a reflection of a significant forced cutback of alumina production by a competitor in Brazil, reducing global production by 3 million tonnes, which is quite significant. In addition, there was underpinned growth in aluminium of 4.7% per annum and underpinned growth in alumina of 3.9%. Those factors, including supply and environmental reforms in China, have driven the alumina price to an average of $445 per tonne US dollars in the last half, and currently trading at $565 US dollars a tonne.
Expect that this momentum in pricing will continue over the rest of the year, over the rest of the full year?
We're reasonably confident. We see at the moment that the same conditions that were in place in the first half continue at the moment. We don't expect the Brazilian refinery to come back on stream until at the very earliest the end of the year or even next year. We also do see the supply restrictions in China continuing, having an impact on available capacity. So, for example, environmental winter cuts in heavy industries will again once apply this Chinese winter to alumina and aluminium production. And so they really want to clean up their environment, and they're serious about it. There are also reductions in illegal and non-approved bauxite mining, which is used to make alumina in China, which is causing a shortage. And there are a number of other supply-side reforms where China's now producing rationally for self-sufficiency rather than overproducing in alumina. Outside of China, there is limited new capacity or existing capacity that's curtailed coming on. So we see those conditions very much staying in place in this half.
Mike, can you give us a better idea of your view on the demand in China? You talk a lot about the supply issues there. I'm curious about demand, though, given that the country, on the one hand, has the trade tensions. Many are worried about having an impact on growth going forward, but also just the sheer domestic factors and the transition underway for the economy.
I think from a China perspective in aluminium, they want to be regarded and treated as self-sufficient. So they do not want to depend on aluminium imports, and that will be sufficient to underpin production of alumina. Now, there may be some timing mismatches, so smelting capacity may reduce at some time, but alumina capacity will then reduce very quickly and respond to it. So from a point of view of these trade wars and tariffs in the US, we're not seeing any impact at the moment in our part of the supply chain.
Expect to see any impact from it going forward, particularly if we do see a ratcheting up of these tensions? I note that Australia has, of course, been exempted from some of the Trump administration's tariffs on steel and aluminium, but is that a concern that could be of material impact going forward?
Certainly not in the context of alumina, which globally is not subject to US tariffs, though, as you mentioned, aluminium is. The difficulty that the US faces is that it has a conundrum that it doesn't produce enough aluminium itself, and it doesn't appear that it's going to be able to do so. There's been no significant increase in smelting production in the US post the tariff announcements. So I think there's going to have to be some flex in the system to accommodate imports and sustain a level of business in other parts of the world producing aluminium that's imported into the US.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now, to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.